Today we're going to talk about why it's so important to create great sales scripts and to actually use them. Now this is probably one of the biggest debates in sales communities, around the water cooler, on sales teams. Do you use a sales script? Don't you use a sales script? And usually the dividing line comes between those folks that have been in sales for a long time, tons of experience, think that everything's kind of locked up in their brain and just flows off their tongue perfectly, versus the young folks who need to kind of work on that script and develop those techniques and maybe have some of those individual sort of triggers sitting there right on their desk ready to go. But I'm here to tell you that I've been doing sales 20 plus years and I still consistently use a sales script because I think it's so important to have a framework within to operate and have that sort of defined journey from the beginning to the end or to the closing, and have some clarity in there, having thought through that before. And I have a sales script for all of the different products, all of the different potential scenarios. And it's good to just have thought through that. Now, does that sales script necessarily sit in front of me on the desk on every single call? No, but I have it documented. I've thought through it, and from time to time, I'll pull it out. If I'm going to do a really important meeting or demo, I will definitely have a sales script in front of me to drive that conversation. So let's dig into why I think it's so important. So first and foremost, like I mentioned before, I think it's important to have what Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, great sales guy, and tons of great techniques. I'm going to kind of borrow his language here, but just there's a lot of nuance to kind of what he teaches within this. But the bottom line is, I think it's important to have a straight line sales system, right? To have defined what that straight line is in your particular sales approach, where you're going to begin, where you're hopefully going to end and close, and all of the defined moments within there, such that you can allow the conversation to drift. You can actively listen to the conversation, and you're always pulling that back into your straight line. And by having thought through that, having that sales script defined, and in most cases actually having it right there in front of you, you can stay on that straight line path. You can carefully and in a really organized, confident way bring that customer down that line, down that journey. Right? The other thing is, again, as you're thinking through, as you're building that script, you're actually thinking through, defining and understanding what the ideal path to success is, right? And you're able to keep that conversation and that track productive. It also makes you much more sort of clean. It gives confidence to the consumer on the other end that you know what you're talking about, you're professional, you're efficient. Again, it just keeps that conversation feeling a lot more clean, a lot more professional, and just gives them that overwhelming confidence that they need to have in you, and then ultimately the product and the company as well. So the other thing to kind of overcome maybe some of this hesitancy against a script is, don't think of it as a crutch, think of it as a strategy. So whenever I'm building out a script, I'm thinking strategically, how am I going to take these couple of different consumer scenarios down a path and get them what they need or what they're looking for? So what does that journey look like? I'm strategically thinking, what are the logical steps that I need to build down that straight line so that I can take them through the logical path, I can get them into the emotional state, and then ultimately I can give them absolute certainty that I'm the right person, this is the right product, and you're dealing with the right company. So last, just to kind of round this out, I want to give you 4 quick benefits to the script. 1, gives you confidence. 2, gives you that straight line system that I so believe in, gives you that sort of defined journey, well thought out strategy and strategic path. And it also gives you a benchmark. Once you have the script and you're actually using it consistently, it gives you a benchmark on which to evaluate and improve your call. So as you're listening and you're walking through that script, you can see the parts you did well, the parts where you struggled, or the parts where the consumer sort of left you, or maybe how you lost them. It really gives you a nice benchmark to measure against. And then you can also draw out and identify new objections or highlights or gaps in that actual script. So where were there places where you get stuck because you hadn't really thought through that scenario, you hadn't thought through that objection. So again, a great benchmark on which to measure, evaluate, and improve your overall sales performance. And then ultimately, and if you've listened to any of my videos, I'm a big believer in silence and how to let that work for you. A script will help you to know when to stop talking. So within each step, it'll know you where to give those points of silence, where to actually draw the prospect into the conversation, where to get them talking and give you a moment to pause, do that active listening. It'll also tell you when you're done selling, when you have the order, when to stop talking. So hope you enjoyed this. As always, like, subscribe wherever you're seeing this. If you have any questions, comments, or debates, leave those in the comments, and we hope to see you on the next one.